Hey, what's up, team? This is Eddie Gray and my daughter Havana. And today I did an interview with composer Jacques Franko. I'm super stoked about his journey. And yeah, we talked about Logic, how he uses Logic. He's a visually impaired composer who's killing it in the world of music licensing. And I just can't wait for you guys to check it out. So anyway, without further ado, let's get it in.
What's going on with you? How you
Eddie
been, bro?
Gray, man, what's going on, bro? I'm doing
Yeah,
great, man.
yeah,
Quarantined,
all right. Cool, cool.
healthy, and
Hey, you
well,
look
man.
you look awesome, man. You look
Bro,
healthy, you look strong, you look like you're ready to rock.
I appreciate it, bro. That's all the basketball playing I'm trying to do these days, man. We're just
Tell me
getting out.
tell me about that.
Well, my son, I mean, he's about to be 7, so he can't sit still. No school, home. He has to go outside. So I take him outside, man, and he's crossing me over like crazy, man. He's breaking my ankles and shooting in my face and everything. I'm just trying to hang with him, but I'm shedding a couple lbs in the process, keeping myself young. So
Nah, you definitely look much more vital, healthy. What tell me, obviously, I'm still learning about, your world and you're schooling me on those things. So like how does it work when you play basketball?
it, I just do the best I can. That's
Roger that.
I don't know. Like his goals lower. It's probably like 8.5 feet. So if I can get close enough to dunk, I'll probably make it. Outside of that, it's probably an air ball. But I mean, I'm trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying.
For those of you who don't know, Jacques Franco and I are, friends, collaborators, and he has a visual impairment. He's a phenomenal composer. When I met him, I just felt like so called to, tell his story and to support him on his journey. We're all here together, and it's all about partnerships and pushing the right people when they're ready. And this guy is certainly ready. When we were offline, we were talking about some of the contracts that he signed in the world of music licensing, in the world of sync licensing. And so, yeah, go ahead and tell us a little bit about some of the different deals that you've been working on. And after our conversation, we're actually going to show him working in his DAW for any of you that are visually impaired out there, because Jacques Franco can certainly help you with that, and that's what we're trying to do. That's the aim in this video. So, anyway, tell us about some of the deals you've been working on, brother.
Yeah, but it was funny because I was just telling you. I mean, I just kind of got myself into a pickle a little bit. Um, you know, having being signed on to do an album is great, especially when you know what they need, what they want, what they like. You're writing specifically for their needs. It's not like a shot in the dark. And so I just agreed to do an album for a publisher. Actually, one that I came through thanks to you. You know what I mean? Thanks to you, big thanks to you.
Boom.
And got everything set to do an album for them. And then just yesterday, I got another email back from a different publisher that I emailed an album to probably 2 months ago. Emailed an album, waited 2 weeks, emailed a follow up, never heard back anything. This is probably 2 months ago. They emailed me back and they're like, hey, we love your stuff. Stuff's great. We would love to take it into the library. But unfortunately, though, the tracks I sent to them after I didn't hear back, I already signed those with another publisher. So I felt it. I guess that's part of the business, though. I had to, find out a very nice way to apologize, for any
Mm.
inconvenience I may have caused, and told
Well,
them,
I beg to differ. They caused you an inconvenience because they put you in a pickle by not responding. I mean,
I would agree, but I didn't want to tell them that in the email. that probably would have been a surefire way to not get
no,
any future business. I looked at it as an open door, so I just was very cordial and said, I wrongfully assumed that you guys either weren't interested or didn't have a need for it. So I unfortunately signed those with another publisher. But I offered them. I said, having said that, I'm always writing music. I'm always cranking out music, and I would love to write you guys an album according to your specific needs,
right.
desire. And he emailed me back, probably 2 minutes later with a brief, and he said, yes, if you could write us an album like this, that'd be phenomenal.
Isn't
So
it
now I'm signed on to do 2 albums.
the
Go for
life
it.
of the life of a composer, my friend? I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I was stressing out a little bit, so I started reaching out to my buddies in the sync world, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. What do you got,
Right.
basically, and trying to open up the door for, cause the doors are open, so I'm trying to see who has work ready or wants to work or wants to collaborate and stuff like that. So it's good to know people.
Yeah, for those of you new to the world of music licensing, you have to work fast, you have to be prolific, and you have to put out a good product. So it could be challenging when you're juggling multiple projects, multiple deadlines, and so it's never a bad idea to collaborate. That's actually how Jacques and I met. We started collaborating, and man, he
Yep.
was throwing down some jams. Like some of his songs are so phenomenal, and I can't wait for these people to check out your work. But before we get into that portion of what we're doing here, I wanted to catch up because I'm on a new channel and we're distributing this content
Right.
to new people. So
I am digging the new channel. Like,
all right,
man, subscribe.
cool.
Listen, great content. You know what I mean? Great content. So I'm telling y'all, listen, I gotta shout my guy out, man. Eddie Gray, great material, great stuff. I mean, the content that he's giving out for free on there is insane. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, check it out, man. It's great stuff. You won't regret it.
Thank you,
I
bro.
gotta plug you in, bro. Gotta plug you in.
I definitely I saw a need. I saw an opening because I realized people were teaching, but it wasn't comprehensive. And I was like, I got to get in
Right.
here, and I want to help people, man. I want to hear stories. I know it's possible, and so I'm just trying to give that back, and so that's kind of the angle.
It, I feel, and having said that, I honestly feel like, I mean, I'm a testament to that.
Mm,
Because I've always been musically inclined, but when it came to production music, workflow, efficiency, confidence, I mean, really, there's a lot of areas I lacked. But man, once I got in touch with you, bro, you put me on tips, how the business goes, how to contact people. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I learned from you that, I mean, what has it been? Has it been less than a year? Almost a
I
year?
would say it's right around there. Yeah, I put a lot of people on game. I don't do it for the accolade or whatever. I do it because I wish somebody had done it for me. And also,
Right.
dude, you're just a mega talent, so it's like a responsibility at this point. You know what I mean? Like
Hey,
people have to hear what you do, man. It's remarkable. It's really really cool.
bro, I appreciate it because, I mean, I think it was even in the crazy thing I think about music licensing or music production, for whatever reason, it comes in waves. It feels
Yeah.
like there'll be a wave where it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. So much work. I got so much, I got to grind. And then it's like settles down and you're just like, doing tracks and you're like, wow, this is kind of feels, robotic, kind of stagnant. It definitely has its ups and downs. And I know even last year, I started collaborating, and all the tracks, that I was getting tracks in libraries last year, but they were all through collaborations, all through connections. But still, my own personal work wasn't getting accepted anywhere. And it seemed like, and I told myself, my goal for last year was to sign an album myself. Like I was like, man, I got to get my own album signed
Yeah.
with a publisher. That was what I kept telling myself. And the craziest thing is, literally on January 31st, I got an acceptance from a library for an album I had written, a like future-based funk album. And it was literally January 31st. I told myself by the end of the year, I got to sign a deal. And I felt like it probably wasn't going to happen. And then I got an acceptance letter on January 31st. And since then, I've signed, I guess, 4 albums. I've just been cranking like crazy. So,
I don't think people know the magnitude of the business. Like you got to remember, Jacques, when I first started, I didn't know a single thing about production. All I knew how to do is play guitar, and all I knew how to do was sing and write a song.
right,
And I had to dovetail off of others, either production skills or success. And
right,
so I saw a pattern and I saw a possibility
if I'm only one person, one guy, no experience, and I was able to grow after, essentially 4 years of grinding, 4 or 5 years, I thought, man, what if I relay this information? I've done my best to
Yeah.
give it away and push people, and some people have flourished and others have stayed the same. But I just saw like somebody has to do something about this. And if I don't step in, at some point somebody will, and either
Right.
A, they'll be a debutante, or B, they'll be like, deceiving or whatever. I just thought I want to come up and be an upstanding man and give the truth and, feed people to the best of my ability. And then, just watch it grow. Just
Yeah.
watch them grow.
Well, you're definitely doing that. And I think one of the best truths that you've given is the reality that there's not one way to do it. I think your approach, because you kind of do that with, when you teach stuff, you teach an idea, right? Even if it's parallel compression, you never refer to one plugin or one compressor or one saturator. You'll pull it up. You'll use different ones, different saturators, different compressors, and you'll teach an idea. And for me, it helps me because I realize I take a very different approach. When I do a lot of this stuff, and it really empowers me to be like, you know what? You don't have to do it the way everybody else does it. You can get the same result by doing things a different way. And that's probably.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, that's probably one of the best truths, I think, is for people to grasp that there's not only one way to do everything. I think people just get confused. I mean, you hear different information out in the world, and you're wondering which way to do stuff, which way is the right way. The reality of it is they're probably all right because they all work. Whatever works is right.
Well, in conjunction with that, a lot of them are also wrong. Like simultaneously. Like, I do believe that there are different methodologies that work at different times in your career. Like, depending on it's genre contingent, obviously. But for me, it was like I saw that there was a lot of misinformation, and also it was overly technical, and I felt like a lot of it could have been simplified. And things like, for example, the conversation about volume. Nobody that I saw thoroughly expressed like the concept of digital volume opposite
versus
physical.
analog. Right.
Physical volume. Those
Right.
are two, like, and nobody takes the time to describe the most basic concepts. For example, when I first got into the biz, nobody talked about panning,
right,
or balance versus stereo or true panning.
right.
And I was like, this is such bro, people that have been in the industry for 15, 20 years, I tell them about it, I'll explain the mechanics. No, they had no clue.
Still don't get the difference. Right.
So I thought, okay, there's a gap, there's a problem here. There's too much misinformation, and people are just throwing little tidbits, and there's no comprehensive program. And so I just thought, I'm going to start from the ground up, brick by brick. And yeah, good responses. A lot of great things are happening, man. So we're going to keep pushing.
Yeah, man. Most definitely, bro.
Well, real quick, Jacques is a composer. That's how we met. And recently he's been, reinventing himself, recreating himself. And now he actually has a bunch of clients that he's helping in the world of the DAW and learning how to navigate Logic if you have a visual impairment. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, man, that's actually that's kind of a newer venture, I would say, and something that I probably really never thought much about until you really started pointing this out. Like, dude, you got to tell your story. You got to get this out there because there's a lot of other people who are probably in your boat, probably in your shoes, trying to do the same thing. So that's why we originally did the first interview that we did, is to kind of get the message out there that, here's what this guy's doing, visual impairment, using Logic, taking advantage of voiceover, whatever other things, however I navigate, Logic and plugins and stuff like that. Well, fortunately, we had some pretty good response from that video, not only from sighted people, but from the visual impaired community. I've had people reaching out from all over the world, literally New Zealand, the Netherlands, Belgium, the United States, I mean, literally different countries having people reaching out, and some are just saying words of encouragement, saying we really like what you're doing, asking little tidbits. Some of those have turned into actual clients, people that I'm mentoring, working with via Zoom, giving them a more thorough way of how to navigate Logic without your eyes, using voiceover. Because the reality of it is, when you start to navigate through the menus, you do realize that there are some quirks. There are some little things here and there that don't necessarily make sense. But fortunately, I've taken some time to figure out how to do it the right way. And I'm trying to relay that, save some people some frustration, save some people some heartache, some pain, learn from somebody that already did it, went through it. And I've been loving, meeting up with people and seeing growth in people and sharing these tips and tricks and all this stuff, man. This is a cool journey, another extension of the journey I'm on as far as music production goes. So thank God for Zoom, right? We can meet up with people in different countries and get into these things. So I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it.
Dude, I'm so fascinated by what you're up to and your understanding of the program. I mean, you're taking it to a whole nother level. And people are benefiting now. It's so funny, this started off as a simple conversation, between you and
crazy.
I. And now you're like helping all these people. So yeah, if you guys, need help with this and you want to reach out, please email me at hftracks, plural. This is all going to be in the description. hftracks@gmail.com, and you can talk to Jacques directly.
Yes, sir.
So do you want to get into a session? And
yeah, sure.
What are we going to demo for these fine folks?
All right, so here I have a session pulled up, and now this is a track that I just recently signed to a publisher. But what I did was I just broke it down to the original 8-bar loop that I started with. So what I want to do is just show you how to start with an 8-bar loop, to use voiceover to show you how to build just from an 8-bar loop, build the entire track to the end of it. And I want to show you how to create some contrast to where it doesn't, even though you started with a loop, it doesn't feel like you're looping.
Okay.
That's kind of what I want to show, because that's a big deal.
And when you start, I'm just curious now, is this usually your methodology for writing a tune when you first get started? You start with like the hook or whatever, the main part of the song?
Yep, this is my methodology. My methodology
This is cool.
And this is how I do it. You know what I'm saying? This may not work for you. I don't know. I can just show you what works for me, and hopefully it can work for you, just to give you some ideas at least.
Well, if it's worked for one person, it obviously that's evidence that it could work for somebody else. If they're interested in writing music and they don't know how to start, this is a good way to at least get the ball rolling.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do is just show you. So with this session, I just loaded in some percussion loops, some basic ones just to get the juices flowing. Some people don't like to do them. I typically will load in some basic rhythmic loops, and I'll do some sort of editing to make them my own, do something to make them a little bit unique. And then bass, chords, melodies, no loops from that point. I typically only use maybe something rhythmic, and I'll manipulate it to make it fit.
Before you get into that, where do you like to get your source sounds, your samples?
Sounds.com. Sounds.com. That's where I roll. You can check out the new Eddie Gray R&B sound pack. I already got the drums off that.
Yeah, there we go.
Immediately. So, but yeah, sounds.com, bro. Absolutely. So I'm going to show you what I have. Now I have different tracks here, but I have them all muted, and I just kind of want to show you how I came about this. So I start off with just this loop, rhythmic loop. It's two. Okay, there's two loops there, okay? So typically, that's how the project started, just an 8-bar loop of this. And I want to show you, I want to add in pieces as I go to show you what I created to be the basic foundation of a track, and take you through how to build it. Turn voiceover back on.
Voiceover on Logic Pro 10. Tracks header. Tracks contents. Track in tracks. Track 4 short riser. Track 8 snare track 13 synth flux. Track 14 piano. Track 16 riff underscore bit. Track 17 synth chords. Track 16 riff underscore bit. Track 17 synth. Track 16 riff under.
Okay.
Toggle
So
channel
the
strip
first
mute
thing
off.
I
8
did
bars 2
was I
beats 3
threw
1 bar 1
a
beat 1.
lead over that to catch an energy.
4 beats 4 divisions 226. Track 17 synth chords underscore track 18 riff stack. Toggle channel strip mute.
That just a stack that I
bars,
put
1.
with it just to make it cut through a little bit more, make it a little bit fuller. But this is the basic hook right here. This is the lead. So I'm going to start to add in parts to show you what I developed. Because typically when I write songs, I start with either chords or melody first. Either way, if I start with a melody, then I'll create chords to harmonize it. Or if I start with chords, then I'll create a lead to go over. But typically what I'm trying to do is create a rhythmic foundation, then create the hook, then create chords, then create a bass line and a counter melody. Okay, that's kind of the formula that gives me enough to create a track off of.
4 beats 4 divisions. Track 17 synth chord. Track 16 riff underscore bit. Track 15 piano low. Toggle channel strip. 4 bars 1 bar 1. Track 14 piano underscore bit. Toggle channel strip. Track 15 track 6 track 18 riff stack. Track 19 lead 2 inches. Track 20 rep. Track 18 riff stack. Track 17 synth chords underscore. Toggle channel.
That's where we're at so far.
1 bar
right?
2.
So I just have the lead, and then I have the chords that are coming up behind it, and they're stacked. I have a low piano, a high piano, and then I have like kind of the synth kind of taking up the mids. I do a lot of stacking like that to make stuff sound fuller.
When I know this is bounced to audio right now, but you wrote all of this using what?
Oh yeah. This is all the piano is probably Native Instruments Grandeur. That's the one that I always go to.
Nice.
The synth chords, I'm pretty sure, is from Massive X, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm sure the leads are from Massive X. I mean, everything's probably almost. I almost use 100% Native Instruments stuff. So
right, and part of that is because Native Instruments also has the technology, right?
Right, the complete control. Yep, and we covered that pretty in depth last interview. If you're interested in learning more about that, definitely see the previous interview we did. But I'm for the most part using all Native Instruments plugins. All this is pretty much Massive X. The leads, the synth chords, Massive X. The piano is Grandeur. And even the drums are coming from the Complete Control, the sounds.com integrated with Complete Control. Not sure if people are familiar how to create a group of sounds that you want. You can actually import those directly from sounds into your Complete Control and play them like an instrument right in your Complete Control sampler.
What the greatest thing about this, and if they're interested, they could reach out to you, obviously. But the greatest thing about this is like you have your sound. Like when I hear your tracks, it just after you produce it and everything, it's just like you have this phenomenal tone, man. So yeah. Anyway, please continue.
Appreciate it, bro. All right, so I'm gonna start bringing in the drum beat now.
4 beats 4 division. Track 16 riff underscore. Track 15 piano low. Track 4 track 12 down FX on. Track 11 800 track 10 drum fills underscore bit. Track 9 snare on heavy up. Track 8 snare. Track 7 kick underscore. Toggle channel strip mute off.
So tell us what you're doing here.
All right, so on the kick drum, I have a kick sample that I chose from. I have a bunch of samples. I can't tell you. I know I got it from Sounds. I can tell you that much. I can't tell you the exact sample at this point. But it's EQ on the kick and parallel compression. Obviously, it's a lot more than saturation. There's a lot that goes into making a kick hit real good. But that I just added in the kick drum, and then I'm just going to add in the snare stack. Do you want to know more about the kick, or?
Yeah, I mean, any tidbits that people could bet. I see that you have a Transient Shaper, which is going to help it knock.
Right. It does help it knock, but also what I like to do with the Transient Shaper is the release. I want to control how long it is, because sometimes kick drums are so long in how long they are that they actually interfere. Even though the initial transient, you can sidechain, right, a kick and a bass. and you can duck the bass for the initial transient, but sometimes the kick drum is just too long and it's going to interfere after the initial transient. So sometimes I'm shaping the length in the release as well with the transient shaper.
Yeah, I find that to be the difference between a skilled producer and somebody who's still learning, is those kinds of details where, like, if the bass carries over into like the next section or the snare, it just sounds a little bit looser and not in a good way, like sloppier.
Yeah.
So anyway,
definitely.
good call, brother. Oh,
Yeah, bro.
real quick, I'm really fascinated on your choice of graphic EQ. Is there
Oh, yeah.
blind? I would love to hear about that, bro.
That's the well, okay. That's the blind tip. All right, this is my the graphic EQ and Logic. You want me to tell you? I'm gonna tell you why I love it. And I use it. I use it on my master bus. I use it like crazy. I use it everywhere. Let me pull it up. Is that cool,
dude?
So,
yes, please.
All right, so I'm gonna why. This is a good place to show this as well. Let me go to where I use the
snare
graphic
underscore bit.
EQ.
Snare on a heavy acoustic drum fills underscore 800
Is it
8 underscore
on my-
bit. Down FX underscore bit synth down 8 drum synth kick under
Okay, so let me pull this up.
off 0 automate off bus set plus bus audio set insert bar saturation
so
insert compressor
graphic EQ.
insert graphic EQ in graphic open.
All right. First thing,
You are
I
currently on a
want to
text
point
kit.
this out. When I open my plugins, people are like, why does your plugins look so weird? I'm going to show you why. Because anytime you have a plugin, they are not naturally compatible with VoiceOver. You need to change the interface of them to access the more intricate aspects of any plugin with Logic, with Waves, with Softtube, with whatever it may be. You need to change the interface. So that's why the graphic interface is huge to making it compatible. So I'm going in here. If you see, I'm at the top of the plugin, and I'm over here.
1K boost.
That's the preset I
You are
have.
currently on
1K boost. I did other stuff to it as well. But
previous next compare
notice
uncheck,
where it says view.
link uncheck.
This view part, you can change it from controls or
you are currently on an editor. You are currently on a menu.
See, editor's the normal. That's how it is when you pull it up, right, Eddie?
Yep, roger that.
Yep. So I need to change that to make it compatible. So I change it to controls. So what it is the same options, but it takes away the graphics of it. It's just the pure numbers of it. So when I go in,
link scroll area in scroll area.
I have 16K,
60 kilohertz,
8K,
0.0 8 kilohertz, minus 3.0 decibel, 4 kilohertz,
2K. It's all octaves.
0.2 kilohertz,
1K, 500, 250, 125, right on down. So why do I love this thing? One, I love the interface of the graphic EQ in general. One reason why is mainly when I pick the graphic EQ, I'm picking it not so much for the sound, because on the Logic Vintage EQ collection, you can actually change the output to be any of the 3 Logic EQs. I'm not sure if people are familiar with that, but if you go down to the output mode, graphic EQ, but I can change it.
Menu check mark. Punchy smooth. Console EQ. You are check mark silky. 2BQ.
So even though I like the interface of the graphic EQ, I'm not limited to the tonal quality of it. I can change it. That's one reason why I love it.
Wow. Amazing. Oh yeah, just I'm also curious, if you wanted to close that window right there, the graphic EQ, do you hit a key command like Command W or what's
Command W all day.
All right, cool.
Command W is all day, definitely. I love it.
Cool.
I couldn't live without Command W. But be careful, because if you've already closed it and you Command W, it'll close your whole session, which I've done as well.
But that's a sound piece of advice right there that people need to hear, especially intro people who are just trying to get around and figure things out, because you have a really good workflow, obviously, at this point. So
it's definitely taken 6-7 years into it. There's no substitute for experience, definitely.
So I see your master chain. I've known you for a while now, and I've seen your progress. It looks like your master chain is starting to develop, my friend. Look at this. You got tape
it's
emulation.
A little bit. Yeah, that's one thing that I realized I couldn't live without. Once I got hooked up with you, I realized I couldn't live without it. But can I point? So real fast, just on this EQ while I have it up.
Yeah, please.
The other reason why I love it before I close it is because it gives you 10 options. So this EQ, it's you pick one of 10. There's not a bunch of other options, and all the options it gives you is the sweet spots.
Output 0. Depth limit. Nat 3 30 60 0 125 hertz.
16K it gives you air. 8K it gives you like some of that high mids. 4K, 2K, 1K. That's the meat of your sounds. Even going on down into the low mids, 500, 250, then 125 bass. 62 bass, and then 30 sub. I mean, it hits all the sweet spots. So I just do all my boosts and all my frequencies I remove or turn down. I pick from those 10 options. All the sounds you hear is me just going to the sweet spots and turning up or turning down. It's not even surgical, but I found that these are the sweet spots, man, that I don't need. Less options for me is good. It's simpler. It just makes me work faster.
I'm on the same boat, my friend. I love it.
Yeah, that's why the graphic. That's why I choose that interface. And if I want to get a different tone, I can always change the output to one of the other EQs. So that's the rundown on that.
Main event 85 feet.
Roger that.
Let me close my mixer. So do you want me to go into the master chain?
Mixer.
Or?
Whatever calls you, whatever I'm just kind of having fun with you here. So
my mastering chain is not super in depth still. I try to keep it, I do have sub buses that I may do a little bit more work on. I have a bass bus, drums bus. And a lot of the buses I have set up are really for the purpose of licensing. I have a lead bus that when I'm doing my narrative or underscore, I can just mute the lead bus and then bam, I have.
So real quick, because if you're a beginner, like that was a little bit maybe over the top. So You're sending your primary sounds to an auxiliary channel. This is called a bus. And what's the purpose of this again?
The purpose of the bus is to process a group together. In this, for music licensing, it definitely has a dual purpose. One is obviously for mixing, controlling transients, EQ on a greater spectrum than just one instrument, reverbs, whatever. It's obviously for mixing, but it also has a dual purpose for when you're doing your edits and licensing. A big thing is being able to get the sub mixes out. So I might get a version where you just want bass and drums. Well, I can go to this and I can solo my drum bus and solo my bass bus, and there's your bass and drum mix for your edit, or if they might ask for an edit and they might want an underscore, no lead. So I can just mute my lead bus and there you go. I can bounce it. It's quick. I'm not going into each track, muting this one, muting that one. It's one move, boom, mute, bounce it. If you want it, I hope that makes sense. Some publishers, some publishers want no effects on a lot of the mixes. So I even have an effects bus. I can mute that. So I can mute effects bus, mute my chords and pads bus, mute my leads bus, and there you go, drum and bass.
Very cool. By the way, when we're done with this session, can we hear the final product to be?
Absolutely.
In fact, we could either play it, or you can just send it to me and I'll play it as we outro out. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's cool. I can either way. I can just go to the alternative of this one.
Yeah. We'll do that and we'll fade. Anyway, keep going, my friend.
Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna go back to the project now. Well, is that any more questions on the buses or?
I think it was thorough enough, and of course, if people need more information, they can reach out to you.
Absolutely. So here's what we got so far.
4 beats, 4 division. Tracks. In tracks. Tracks time. Tracks header. Track 8 snare underscore bit. Toggle channel strip solo on.
Solo.
Toggle channel. Toggle channel. Track 9 snare on shift heavy. Toggle channel strip. Track 10 drum fills underscore bit. Track 11 808 underscore bit. Toggle channel strip mute off. 7 bars 4.
Here goes the 808. So this is pretty much the gist of the
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 4 beats 4.
Alright, so I'm gonna come down. That's got my hook, got my bass, drums, chords. I need a counter melody. And now here's my tip. At this point right here, while the inspiration is hitting you, once you get the main gist, maybe spit out a couple extra ideas because you could probably use them on a verse or on a breakdown or something. You know, while the inspiration hits you, go ahead and spit some other stuff out is my rule, because I want to create enough stuff while the inspiration's flowing to where I can just mix and match and create a whole track based off what I do in this first 45 minutes of just composing. That's a tip, a good little nugget that I wish I knew before.
Nice.
All right, so let me.
Track 12 down FX underscore.
So let me come down
Track 21 master bus. Track 20 rev. Track 19 led 2 inches.
All right,
Track
so
18 rip stack. Track 19
this is my counter melody right here.
Toggle channel strip solo on.
Doesn't sound that cool by itself, but
Toggle channel strip solo. Toggle channel strip mute off. Track 14 piano under track 13 synth flux.
All right, and then
6
that's the whole track, right? Now here's the extra. Now when I put this in, this is going to be too much, and I know that it's too much. But again, I told you I want to do a little bit of extra so I can use it for other parts of the track.
Toggle channel strip 4 beats 4.
All right,
4 bars 1.
That's the gist of the groove. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 8 bar and I want to, obviously I'm not using my eyes. I want to map out a track and show you how to create contrast, take the parts I've already composed and build a track off of it. So here's my first 8 bars.
Cycle mode off.
Cycle mode off. Now everything is, I already have a marker set on the 1 and a marker set on bar 9. So I know that's going to be a cycle region. And in between 2 cycle regions or 2 marker points, I can hit Shift L and it's going to copy everything in there.
Copy.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this whole thing and I'm going to create my markers in my sections, and then I'm going to go back and create contrast after that.
4 bars 1 beat 4 bars 1 beat 4.
All right.
9 bars 1 beat 1 division. Paste. Paste.
What was that key command?
Paste.
I'm just pasting. I already copied the okay, my fault. It's like a robotic thing, bro. I wasn't even paying attention. So obviously Command V, I pasted it. And then at the end of the region, my playhead is actually already 8 bars away from the start. So I go ahead and just make another marker while I'm there. See that?
Paste.
What's really cool is like I can see that it's telling you, hey, this is bar 41, beat 1, division 1, tick 1. Like it's letting you know when you move the. Amazing.
Definitely. And you can get very intricate too. I mean, when you learn how to use the time ruler with voiceover, I mean, you can get in and do your slices right exactly down to the tick like you want it. I mean, it's thank God, bro, because I would be in trouble without it. I really would. All right,
56
so
bars,
we're
4
at
beats, 57 bars, 2 beats 1, 57 bars, 1 beats 1.
Okay, so that's enough. That should put us at what, about 220 something time-wise. So this is just the same thing duplicated, all right? This is a big block.
1 bar 1 beat 1
I'm going to
division
go
1 tick.
back to the first section, and I'm going to go cycle
Cycle mode
mode.
on.
Now, when you're in cycle mode, the cool thing is whatever track that you're on and the track's header in cycle mode, it doesn't highlight the whole track. It only highlights whatever portion of the track is in the cycle region, okay? This is going to make it very easy to delete parts.
56 bars, 4 beats 4.
So let me come back.
1 bar 1 beat 1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick. Track 14 piano underscore bit. Track 13 synth flux. Track 13 synth flux. Track 14 piano underscore bit.
So right here, I'm thinking intro, right? I'm obviously going to have to strip everything down.
9 bars 1 beat 1 1 bar 1 beat 1
create an intro. That's obviously where we're at.
Track 15 piano low.
So now I'm just going to go and delete everything. All the parts are already there. I'm just going to go and delete stuff to show you how to kind of, develop a track off of it. So
track 14 piano underscore track 15 piano low. Track 4 beats 4 toggle channel strip solo. Toggle channel.
Take that off.
Track 13 synth flux. Track 15 piano low. Track 16 riff underscore bit.
Take my riff out.
Track 17 synth. Track 18 riff step. Track 19 led 2 inches. Track 11 800 track 10 drum fills underscore track 9 snare on a heavy acoustic track 8 snare underscore track 7 kick underscore bit. Track 6 hi-hats underscore bit. Track 5 percussion underscore bit. Track 4 short riser underscore bit. Track 3 11 crash cymbal G number M stabs and hits acoustic underscore bit. Track 4 track 5 percussion underscore bit. Track 6 hi-hats underscore bit. Track 7 kick underscore bit. Track 8 snare underscore. Track 9 snare on. Track 10 drum fills under track 11 800 underscore bit.
All right. I believe we have our intro. That's basically what's broken. Oh, actually, you know what? I might actually want
9 bars, 1 beat, 1 division, 1 tick. 9 bars, 1 bar, 1, 4 beat.
Okay, cool. So now I'm thinking verse.
2 bars, 1 beat, 9 bars, 1 beat.
This is all judgment calls. This is up to you. I just want to show you how you can actually develop a pretty solid foundation of a track just off that initial inspiration. And so real fast, I'm just going to go through and delete some parts and kind of show you that this is pretty much a solid track minus the transitions. That's the thing you'll have to go through and do last, obviously, and which is the funnest part.
8 bars, 4 beat. Track 12 down FX underscore bit. Track 13 synth flux. Track 15 piano. Track 14. Track 13 synth flux.
All right, let me come up there.
Track 9 snare ownership heavy acoustic. Track 8 snare underscore bit. Track 7 kick up. Track 8 snare under. Track 10 drum fit. Track 6 hi hats underscore bit. Track 10 drum fills underscore bit. Track 11 808. Track 12 down FX underscore. Track 13 synth flux. Track 14 piano underscore bit. Track 15 piano low. Track 16 riff underscore bit. Track 17 synth chords on. Track 18 riff step. Track 19 led to inch.
Actually,
Track 12 down FX up. Track 11 808 under. Track 10. Track 11 808
oh, no 808.
underscore bit.
All right.
9 bars,
That's
2
a
beat.
verse.
17
And
bars, 1
I'll let it play in a second, and you can kind of see exactly what I'm doing. But any questions thus far? I'm just going to do it real quick. from
Sounds
this point
awesome.
on. All right. So
Track 10 drum fills underscore bit.
drum fills.
Track 11 808
So
underscore
now
bit.
this is going
Track
to be
12
the main chorus where kind of everything is hitting.
Track 13 synth
Let me
flux.
take the synth flux out.
Track 14 piano underscore bit.
This piano out.
Track 15 Track 16 riff underscore bit. Track 17 synth chords underscore bit. Track 16 riff under. Track 18 riff step. Track 19 led
Okay,
to
here's my hook.
16 bar.
All
20
right.
bars, 25
Now
bars.
B section. Now here's the cool thing about that is I've already done enough already to where I don't really have to think a lot about a B section. I can just kind of contrast what's already there.
Track 20 rep.
So-
Track 19 led 2 inches.
Let's take this out. Oh wait,
Track 18 riff
actually,
step. Track 9
let's leave this.
undo. Track 19 led 2 inches.
So now
Track
my
18
counter melody before is actually going to become my melody for my B section.
Track 18 riff step.
Take this
Track header.
out.
Track 17 synth chords under.
Get rid of these.
Track 16 riff underscore. Track 15 piano low.
Leave
Track
that.
header. Mirror track 14 piano. Track 13 synth flux.
Okay. B section.
24 bars.
See,
27
there's enough contrast there. So even though it's the same musical idea, the instruments are different. It just gives you enough of a contrast. It feels, even though it has the same energy, it feels like something different. So it's a very solid B section. So, the intro, verse, chorus, B section. And I'm just using the stuff that I had in my initial wave of inspiration. Okay. Then I'm just going to repeat my A section now. So I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm going to go
33
back
bars,
to here.
130. Track 14 piano underscore bit. Track 15 piano low. Track 17 synth chords under. Track 18 riff step. Track 17 synth chords underscore. Track 18. Track 19 led 2 inches. Track 20 rep. Track 19 Track 18 riff step. Track 17 synth chords underscore bit. Track 16 riff underscore bit. Track 15 piano low. Track 14 piano underscore bit. Track 13 synth flux. Track 12 track 11 808 underscore bit. Track 10 drum fills underscore bit. Track 9 snare ownership heavy acoustic layered. Track 8 snare. Track 7 kick underscore. Track 6 hi hats underscore bit. Track 5
All right.
cycle mode off.
Now
38
I'm kind of re-going back through the first A section with the intro, verse, chorus, but I'm introducing something different here. It's that part that I said was too much before. Works really nice for this section right here.
33 bars 32
Okay.
34 bar 41
Second
bars
verse.
40 bars 4 track 6 hi hats underscore bit. Track 7 kick underscore bit. Track 8 snare underscore bit. Track 6 hi track 7 kick under track 6 hi hats underscore bit. Track 7 track 10 drum fills under track 11 808 up track 12 down FX underscore bit under track 13 synth flux.
Take this out.
Track 14 piano underscore bit.
Actually,
Track 15 piano.
it just takes a lot of time though.
Classic electric piano
Dedication.
dialogue.
If you're not dedicated, especially on top
Main
of
event
being
85
blind,
ppm F number M. Tracks.
you're not gonna get far. Let me let this load.
So all that selection was going
Progress,
on
dialogue.
within complete control.
Main event 85
right.
ppm F number M.
It's just,
Tracks. Window.
Yep, exactly. And so this is It's playable like that. It's still a little bit annoying, but it's better. So what do you want me to play?
I mean, even just hear you jam like that, just a little something.
The latency, bro.
Track 21 led to 1 bar 1
I
beat
know,
1 division
but
1 tick.
The
Free
fact
header.
the fact that you just played that's just so beautiful, man. You are a virtuoso, my friend.
Progress. Dialogue.
I'm seeing you grow.
Logic
I'm
Pro 10
seeing
busy.
you evolve, and man, it couldn't be any better. I just want you to keep doing what you're doing, and you're amazing, bro. I love this.
Bro,
Main
I
event
appreciate
85
the
ppm
help and
number in.
support,
Charts.
man. I mean,
Window. Track 22 classic electric piano.
I think last
Track
time we
header.
talked,
Muters.
you said something. You were like, this next year you're really gonna feel the impact of everything you've been doing, and it's true. That's like a prophecy because it's definitely true, bro. I mean, it went from like literally emailing, never getting a response to even when I get a response, even if it's late or whatever, it's never like it's even if they don't need it, it's still at least with your stuff's great. We just don't it's not really genre specific for us right now. Maybe you could try this, or we need this, or it still like can turn into something else. It's just different now.
I know, but in all fairness, you've put in the work, right? Do you know the story of the oak tree by chance?
I do. I think I've heard it from you, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah. I mean, for those of you who don't know it, the oak tree is a fascinating specimen because it's planted. First year, it grows a mere 2 feet. Second year, 2 feet. 3, and of course, all the conditions have to be met, right? Like water and sunlight and all that good stuff. And then finally, year 4. After year 4, it grows 10 feet, just like completely catapults. And it's fascinating that it takes those 4 years, right? And on the surface, everybody's looking at the 2 feet and going, oh, the oak tree only grew 2 feet this year. But what they're not looking at is the roots that are being, dug into the earth, and they're creating a solid foundation. That's what's happening with you. Is like you're growing, you're developing, and at some point, I don't want to put a time limit on it. It's a simile, it's a metaphor.
Right.
But the idea is that you are going to catapult 10 feet, but you have to continue the work. Dude, it happened to me year 4, like to the dime. I had been working, it was just slow going, and then when that 4th year came, it was massive. Doors were opening. I was meeting a bunch of people. So yeah, man, I'm excited about your journey, and I'm gonna be the first to celebrate.
Well, you gonna be right here with me, bro.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
For real.
Well, here, man, let's close up here. I want people to hear your track. Are there any closing words? Do you have any advice for people? Because what I'm thinking about is, I got this message where what if I wanted to start and I had something that was holding me back? And by the way, people do. I mean, it doesn't have to be a visual impairment. So people have, they come from bad homes, or they have disabilities, like they have dyslexia or something, or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. The point is do you have any words of wisdom, because you've been in the grind now for a couple of years, and now you're starting to see the fruits of your labor. So I just want to know if you have anything to impart on people who want to get started. They don't know what to do. What have you seen works for you?
Yeah, to be honest, I think the most important thing, and this probably applies to anything, is your mind. You gotta make up in your mind. See, because in life is full of a bunch of things that are out of your hands, right? So you can't control the majority of things, or a lot of things that happen in your life. But who you are tomorrow is a large part and result to the decisions you make today. So one thing you can control is yourself. You can't control a lot of outside. If you come from a bad family, you can't control your family. If you were born with a condition, you can't control that. You really can only control the decisions that you make today. I mean, you can't even control what you did yesterday. Yesterday's already gone. You can't go back in time. So you have to make up in your mind what it is that you want to do. You have to be realistic about where you're at, you know, and you have to put in the work. And the other part I believe, and I'm starting to believe this even more and more, is not just putting in the work, but you also need to find the people. Because I think a big part about anything is anything you want to do, anything you're trying to do, you need to get connected to somebody who's already doing it. And they're going to show you the rope, or they can show you the way. And I know sometimes that's easier said than done, but nowadays I feel like that's easier because now we can put up, you know, a YouTube video and you can comment right there. It's like you can get access from across the world and you can say, hey, you know, we're doing videos and you're literally putting your email address in the video. So if you watch it, you have a direct line. They can contact you. They could reach out. You know, if there's something that you want to learn how to do, I always believe in looking to those that are doing what it is you're trying to do. So only thing you can control is what you do, and reach out for help. I feel like those are intertwined, because what I've noticed is out of all the people that reach out for help, you know, it's really only the people who make up their mind about what it is that they want to do and put in the work. Those are the ones that are actually going to flourish anyway. So your mind, your mentality, deciding what it is that you want to do, you know, and being aggressive, like, you know, holding yourself accountable, making sure like today I'm going to finish a track. Today I'm going to learn this, or even if it's not finish a track, even if it's today I want to learn, you know, what compression is, you know, whatever it is, just start building. Like you have to start learning all these, like when you hear a track or you hear a track I do or Eddie does, that's a final product of years of studying, you know, learning about compression, EQ, reverb, delay. That didn't happen overnight. Those are a bunch of decisions that we make probably every day. Today, I need to work on this. Tomorrow, I need to work on that. You know, and it over time, you're learning and growing to where now I can sit down and make a track that's competitive, that's professional, but it's because of all the decisions I made in the past. You know, it's not, now I'm reaping the benefits of all the right decisions I made before. So I think that's a huge thing, man, is you have to really take control of your thoughts, your mind. You have to be disciplined and you have to be dedicated. And when you don't know the path, find somebody who's on the road or who's at the destination you're trying to get to and get them to show you the road. You know, nowadays it's easier said than ever, easier done than ever with social media, with YouTube, I mean, Facebook, whatever. I mean, it's as simple as, you know, you can look me up probably right now and you could get in touch with me. It's very easy. I mean, it's easy, you know, it's very easy, but you have to make the choice to be dedicated. And I want to throw it real fast. Get professional feedback for the love of God. Don't only let your friends and family hear what you're doing. Let a pro hear what you're doing so you can get professional feedback, please.
I agree.
That's vital.
I feel like that's when my career started shifting. I got a consultation, and he kept it real, and I made some adjustments. But real quick, man, you're my soul brother. You know, I hear you, I see you, bro. I respect you so much, and you know your music is top notch. And as I'm always gonna be here for you, man. I'm always gonna be a brother in arms, and I love what you're up to. And I'm always going to champion you. So real quick, for a beginner, we're talking entry level, you know, they're thinking of buying a Mac or they just bought a desktop. How long realistically do you think it can take someone if they want to start making music? I'm not talking about making productions that are being, you know, approved by publishers and, you know, selling songs or anything like that yet. But just to get, you know, your feet wet and just to start getting comfortable, how long do you think it'll honestly take for somebody to pick up Logic today, learn voiceover, and learn the technology?
My advice would be is to take a couple weeks with voiceover first, just because you don't want to have to, because the thing is, especially if you can't see, like I don't want to open up a session and be trying to learn voiceover and try to learn Logic. You don't want to be doing both at the same time. That's going to slow you down. Take a week, get comfortable with voiceover. Once you're comfortable with voiceover, just basic navigation. It's not really complicated. It's very basic. Get a basic understanding, then you can open up Logic and you can start making music that day. I believe that. I mean, you're not going to get signed that day, but you can start being creative that day.
If you guys are interested in a voiceover video by Jacques, please throw it in the comments section and we will do our best to get that over to you. So if you're interested, hit us in the comments and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and hear this track, man. I want people to enjoy and yeah, go ahead.
So what I did, just so you know, I showed everyone the process of how I built it with the what parts are in it, you know, how I made the contrast. Then after I did it, I mapped everything out. Then I went and did the transitions, whether it be risers or drum fills. You know, that's where you have to get creative and you have to do different things in different sections. And that's where you really start to make it feel like it's really flowing and coming together and stuff like that. So that's all I did. Basically, from what you guys saw and heard to me mapping it out, all I did from there was add transitional elements and fills. And that's the track.
Main event.
All right, here we go.
1 bar, 1 beat, 1 division, 1 tick. 4 beats, 4 divisions, 226 ticks.
If you guys think this is a game, think again, because Jacques Franko is the man. Damn, dude, thank you so much. You're amazing. Absolutely love what you're up to. Thank you again for the interview. Any last parting words?
Bro, just, you know, work hard because it pays off. But if you don't work hard, you're definitely not going to get where you're trying to get to.
All right, cool. You want to share any sites, socials?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. Hit me up, man. SoundCloud, Jacques Franko. Straight up. First and last name, JACQUES FRANKO. Throw a like on a track, you know, listen to it. I don't do a good enough job promoting myself, but any support will be much appreciated.
Very cool, man. And again, I'm going to provide contact info if you email me. I just want to make sure that he has his privacy. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. We appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button if you like the content. hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys. Cheers.